Round one of the Southern XC mountain bike series, and to confuse matters before we go full gas, there's 3 races about to go off at once here. The front row is the Elite, which is the top ranking riders in the UK. The second row is juniors 17 to 18, and then my row is the expert row. So it is a little bit confusing to know where you are in this race, but we are about to go absolutely full gas. And I knew straight away I needed to move up, but I just got squeezed out by these 2 little junior maggots. But I was patient because I thought to myself, I do not want to take myself out straight away. But you know you need to get into that elite group, those front boys, because they absolutely shift. So right now, right here, it was full on and it was hurting already, but I was switching over to the left to make sure I could move up. I was trying to get as far up the field as possible. You can see the guy at the front, he must have been absolutely ripping it. But I hate this start here because it's such a long killer drag. So right now, I think I'm sitting in 2nd place in the expert category. There's one rider that's 2 spots ahead, Tom. He is leading the expert race right now, and Paddy in front of me is elite. So it's going to be a little bit confusing, but boy oh boy, when you go off with the elite boys, it is full gas. But that is the level I want to get to, so getting the chance to race with them is wicked. You can see here, I don't know what possessed me to go around Paddy and start moving up, but I did. So anyway, I just knew I needed to be in this front group, because if you don't get in it, when you hit some of the straights around here, there's a lot of drafting benefit, or I felt there was anyway. So making sure that I got into this group was so important. And like you can see, look, mistakes got made there. A guy put his foot out, so we all got stuck there. And things like that make it so important to try and be as close to the front as possible. So you can see how strung out we are. We hit the single track now, and like I said, if you're not in this front group now, you're probably going to get dispatched, because the next bit of the course is all single track for a bit. So I'm currently sitting in 2nd place in my race. The rider in front is the leader in the expert race. At the time, I didn't know that I was actually in like 1st, 2nd. It's really hard to work it out. You've just got to go with the pace and suffer. Ignore the heart rate again. I'm doing this off my Garmin watch. I think it catches up in a minute. But right now, I was just thinking to myself, I could see little gaps opening up in front. They're not much, but if you let the elite boys go, like I said, it's absolutely Red Rover. You will not get back on, because they do not let up at all. And in a minute, I do see the gap open, and I go round Thomas and move up onto the guy's wheel in the blue shorts up there. I think it was just round these next few corners, but the boys on the front were absolutely pinging. I mean, you can feel your legs burning, your lungs jumping out your chest, and you're thinking to yourself, this is a 6-lap race, so you need to chill your beans out, Georgie boy. But here we go. So you can see the boys on the front. I think leading at the moment might have been Matt Mellish. He was a junior rider and super strong. He ripped everyone's legs off and beat everyone. But just here, I think it was where I saw they all started attacking, gaps open, so I went straight round to shut that down. Little match burn, silly boy. But I just knew I had to be on it. Because what am I sitting now? 2, 4, 6. So I'm sitting 7th overall, but 1st expert. So wicked position. And I'm sitting behind this lad here. I don't know his name, but the fact that he's wearing a pair of shorts that should be on a Spanish beach somewhere is legendary in my eyes. Look at those pants. That is a proper legend. I mean, I don't know if the wife would let me rep a pair of them, but anyway, back to the racing. This section here was it was that really sticky mud. You can see the guy in front out the saddle. You had to just mash it just to get through. And I knew in a minute it was going to light up, because we hit a gravel draggy section, and there was a little bit of wind on this course because it's like sort of on the top of a hill. So as soon as we hit that section, I knew I needed to be on a wheel. Your boy is a top class wheel sucker because he doesn't quite have the power of these boys in front of him. We come over this ridge and the boys at the front go thermonuclear. I kid you not, I couldn't ride any harder. Look, I'm doing 600 watts and they were just stringing it out. The lad in front's seen it as well. I'm just like, I'm already on the rivet, the gap's gone, and now I'm in the headwind. I'm like, this is it. Signed, sealed, delivered, dispatched. But I said to myself, do not give up, do not give up. And I think Paddy comes back round me in a second and heroically shuts the gap down for us, or tries to anyway. We do get back on, so fear not, race isn't over. But this hurt me a lot, because what I should have done in hindsight, I needed to be glued to that wheel to save as much energy as possible. But one thing I noticed, same again, when you race with the elites, one thing, when they hit that single track, they bloody attack it. Like, I go into the single track sometimes, and I know if you watch my previous videos, I'm not the best through the single track, but this course wasn't as techy as the last one, it wasn't as twisty, it was a little bit more flowy through these single track sections, bit pedally. So they hit these sections and they just whack it. Look at the guys in front, they do not stop pedalling. I sometimes hit it, start freewheeling, start coasting a bit and let the gap go, and you just cannot afford to do that. But this was the main tricky bit of the course, these few little corners, and I could not get the line right on this next one in a second just here. There was a route, I kept it in the route and I kept messing that up. I just didn't know what line to take. Should I have gone round the outside? It was just so slippy, and there wasn't really like a good or a bad line in my eyes anyway. Someone's going to comment down below, you shouldn't have took that line. And do comment down below, because I had no idea what line to take there. But you can see yet again, gaps opening, because once those boys see a little slip in the woods or something like that, the guy at the front just pings it, and you're like, it was just on the gas, absolutely. It's a real strong, powerful course, this one. But through here, the next little section where it's a little bit more technical, and I couldn't really get the line right on one of this next corner here. I should have stayed right where Paddy did, I know that. And then just here, just, you know, when you can feel the tyres going, feel them going, but I just about managed to hold it. But you can see the boys in front have absolutely gapped us on that section. They must have been railing it through there. And the next little bit hits a headwind, so I'm just telling myself, be on a wheel, because if you're not on the wheel now, your boy's going to get dispatched again. So thankfully, Paddy is a nice wheel to be on, that's for sure. You can see, look at the difference in power here though. So I'm like almost recovering. I have to spike up a little bit when we hit the grass, but I'm getting some recovery in now, because being on the wheel, I'm only doing like 150, 200 watts, whereas if you're on the front, he was probably doing like over 100 watts more than me, maybe even like 150 watts more. But you can see the boys off the front as we sling this right-hander here. There's 3 and then there's 2 more ahead. I'm currently leading the expert race, but we're about to lose that position right here. I could not take this next corner for toffee. I just didn't have the confidence for it. You can see as you go into it, it's like off camber, slippy, and I just didn't have the confidence to attack it. But just here is where I think I lose the lead of my race, and Adam comes past. Look at those fake aero socks, those UCI illegal aero socks. No wonder why he was going so fast down there. But when I saw him come past, I was like, you've got to go with it. You can see how quickly he moved up. So now we're back in the front group though, and I'm now sitting in second place. And this is when I said to myself, whatever happens, you got to go with that. Because if he's now in that group and you get dispatched, the long start-finish straight is going to be absolutely game over. But I've jumped on a bit here, and you'll see that me and Paddy got gapped again, and the alarm bells were ringing now. I could see this gap opening, and I knew that I needed to bridge over. So I've had to burn a match here to jump over to the group, because if I let them go, I probably wasn't going to catch them. So I knew that here, and I just thought, whack it now, get on the group, and then get a little toe up. So I've done this little surge, and I remember going past pits right now, and Del Boy was like, go straight past, attack. I was like, I've just burnt the only match I had bridging over to them. So I bridged over. You can see Adam on the right there. He is leading my race right now. And then we've got a group, and then straight away Paddy attacks. No one went with that. Super, super strong attack. And in a minute, you're going to see my biggest mistake of this race. I was already on the limit, and I don't know what possessed me to do this. These boys are elite riders. Like, the guy on the front right now in the Hope kit, I'm pretty sure has won the national championship before, Steve. But we came down here, and my inner Nino Schurter come out, and I don't know what possessed me. But I just decided to whack it and go to the front, and in hindsight this was a terrible decision. I saw that I just for some reason was coming up here with loads of speed. I don't know if it was because I was in this guy's draft. Look at the shorts, love it. But yeah, for some reason I just decided to ping it. It was a silly idea. I absolutely pinged it, and I'd done no damage whatsoever. This next section where we went in through the woods, I was literally putting myself on the limit, digging myself a massive hole, and I remember looking over my shoulder at the end. I was trying to bridge over to Paddy because I knew, but I remember coming out onto this drag section, flicking my elbow, and everyone just looking at me like, you didn't even do any damage. Adam came past, he was like, come on George, and he just rode away from me. That was a silly mistake. And then to top it off, I think Kishan comes round me, waves at the camera, and then attacks me. I told him after this, if he does that again, I'll be taking him out. But in all honesty, that was a huge mistake for me. I think it was just here, look, little piece at the camera, then he decides to attack me. The cheek of it, the audacity. But yeah, that was a big mistake for me. That's just like lack of experience being with these boys. I shouldn't have gone to the front at that time and tried to put an attack in because I was already on the limit, but I don't know, adrenaline got the better of me, and for some reason I thought I was Nino Schurter, and all of a sudden I was back at the back of the group and I was just hanging on for dear life right now. But I do manage to salvage it, get back on until this bloody corner again that I couldn't take. You can see here I was having to sprint massively out of it to get on the wheel. But this is where the race fell to pieces for me. I don't like to blame anyone, but Will, you can't park there. Honestly, we lost the wheel right there, literally, and he had to do a running remount. In all honesty, if I wasn't filming, I probably would have run him over. No, I'm joking, I wouldn't have. As much as I want to win the race, I'm not willing to like run over a rider that I'm racing against. So unfortunately crashes happen, but it meant that group got away. I then come to the front, whacked it to try and get back over because I could see, you could see they're already round the corner now. One little mistake at this level and it is game over. And I tried my best to bridge back over, but you can see they're a couple of corners ahead right now, and I just didn't have the legs to get back on. So that was it. Unfortunately, I didn't see the front of the race again because they got in that little group, worked really well. Look, they're one corner. It was so close to getting back on. I just could not do it. And then just here, I remember coming round, flicking my elbow, and then Will come round and saved the day and tried to drag us back on. And I think we got relatively close to getting back on, but in all honesty, it absolutely wrecked me, that little effort. So I would have won this race if it wasn't for Will crashing. No, I'm joking, I don't think I would have, but I am blaming him if he watches this. But then Steve from Hope come round, started whacking it, then Will whacks it again, and I was just in a world of hurt right now. These elite boys have so much fitness, it's crazy. 1 minute they're whacking it, then the next guy whacks it, and you are just clinging on for dear life. And in a second, I get dispatched from this little group. So Will and Steve come past me. Will starts to drop me, and then Steve bridges over, and I'm like, I've got to go with that right now. I've got to go with it if I want to get back into the race, because Adam, the leader of my race, was in that group in front. And I tried to go with it, and then they attacked again. It is crazy the fitness they have. Attack, attack, attack. And I'm like, please just give me a break right now. But anyway, Steve dropped us. I then became an ultimate wheel sucker. And I'll be honest, I literally just sat on Will's wheel the rest of the race because I couldn't do anything. I was in survival mode right now, and he was putting down some power and slowly bridging us back onto the group in front, which was good. but we didn't quite manage to make contact, and then I started making little mistakes. When you're on the limit like this, it is so easy to make mistakes. Look, you can see he gapped me through this section, and then I had to sprint back on, and all these little sprints add up, and then matches burnt, matches burnt. You've got to be absolutely on your game here, and you can see here he's trying to talk me into going round, and he was saying he's not going to close the gap, but he's pointing and saying like, you can close it, I know you can. And I was just like, look, you're the elite rider, you close the gap down. I couldn't do it. I knew if I went to the front and helped him, I wouldn't be able to do it. But we did manage to bridge back over to the group in front, and, well, over to Steve anyway, and then I got totally dispatched because they started attacking again. Honestly, like, I don't know if I'll ever have the fitness to stay with these attacks. It's just mental. It's like 1 minute they're attacking, then they recover so quickly from that attack to go again. It really is crazy. So I started to get dropped yet again. This was the theme of the race. I was getting dropped, getting back on, bridging over to groups, but in all honesty, it was just surviving to take second place now. I remember coming down this section and thinking, that's it, the gap has gone into this headwind, this is not what I want. And then the legend that is Mr. Adrian Lansley come past, put his thumb up, looked at me, and I just looked, death stared him. I was like, I was dying right now. And if you don't know who Adrian is, he started 2 minutes behind us. He's a vet 40. One day I want to get him on this YouTube channel because I want to know what the man's secret is. But he is an absolute monster. I mean, I tried to go with him, but I just could not. His power, his speed is ridiculous. He helped me shut the gap back down to Will though, which was helpful, but he just went straight off the front. But then the rest of the race, it was literally just pure survival mode. I sat on the wheel. I was a wheel sucker, I'm not ashamed to say it, but I managed to hang on and survive and take a solid second place for the first big race of the season. I gave Will a little thank you here, and I said, super exciting race, and I know that I'm not far off being at that pace of the elite boys. I just need to be able to get that power, speed through the single track. But that is a wrap and second place. I hope you enjoyed the video.